let's use racism for a moment, okay? If I'm attached to the image that I am a nice white person and that I am not racist and that I stand against prejudice, and I need you to see me that way, then when I do something out of my socialization and my ignorance and my life experience, which has been one of privilege and insensitivity, not because I'm a bad person, but because I was socialized. Listen, I was socialized as a white person in South Africa, in apartheid, okay, in the institution. Like, there is no way that I'm not going to go through life and sometimes step in it in a way that I didn't realize because of the way that I was socialized. In those moments, if I know my deep desire to undo that socialization, and somebody then says to me, you're a racist, the very best thing that I can do is be like, show me where and how so that I can undo that. Great. Tell me, what am I missing? I'm so sorry that you have to educate me. I'm so sorry that I haven't figured this out on my own yet. But if I have a not me, I'm not that, then if you try to show me how that is actually showing up in me, I'm going to be like, you have an enemy image of me and you don't see me accurately and you don't understand me. And then I'm centering myself again, which, by the way, is white supremacy, because we center ourselves all the time. It's always about me. So part of this is like learning that we are everything. I can show up in racist ways. I can be pretty narcissistic. I can be very codependent. I have a lot of people pleasing. I can be completely greedy. I can be oblivious to my privilege. Whatever you want to accuse me of, I can find that place in me. And if I can make peace with the fact that I have access to the whole human experience just like you, then we can have a new conversation. It can be one of learning and growth. It can be one of reaching our fullest potential. It can be one of understanding that we have pain and we have fear and we have adaptive strategies and we do things that disconnect, and we can begin working with it without losing self-respect. So the first work is really learning to love it all inside of me. Because if I can't love it inside of me, if I have harsh judgments of it in me, I'm going to be so sensitive to your judgment of it. Even if your judgment is this big and my judgment is this big, I'm going to think that you just threw a bomb at me when you were actually just trying to tell me something this big. And my reaction is going to be huge. But that's about my relationship with that in me. And I can't extend empathy to you if I haven't been able to extend it to me first. Or if I haven't taken it in from other people who can extend it to me first. If I notice myself getting defensive, then I get to say to you, wow, I'm having a huge defensive reaction right now. There's clearly some things I need to go and work on and get aware of. I'm not ready for this conversation. Let me go and wake up to myself and get some empathy. And let me come back to you when I have a little bit more resourcefulness. Because at the moment, I'm so defensive and activated that if we stay in this conversation, I'm right in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, fix. I'm in my 5 Fs, and that's just not going to be the conversation that I want to keep having. So give me a little bit of time. I want to bring back a more resource self to this conversation later. And then you're gentle with your defensiveness. Like, that's the other thing. Don't judge your defensiveness. When I know I'm triggered and defensive, manage it, ride that horse, but take responsibility for it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's going to happen for people. We're going to get defensive and unskilled. And there are so many times I've said to somebody, oh, I do not have the capacity right now to have this conversation. I need to come back to it. I just don't have it in me right now. I'm way too triggered. I know what I'm going to say if I keep going right now. And so we just take responsibility for tracking and knowing where we're at and protecting ourselves and other people from ourselves when we can. You can, first of all, it's always okay to do everything. And then you're going to learn. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, of course, I get to say there's different ways to, the word fight is where I'm going to get a little stalled out there, because if I'm really surfacing my needs, this is about wanting to get my needs met. When we are in pain and fear, we will try to get our needs met. Marshall Rosenberg used to say this all the time, in the way that will make it almost impossible for the other person to meet that need. So if I really want to get my needs met, I want to go to bat for getting my needs met in a way that makes it easier for myself and others to meet the need. And very often, if the thing that I'm wanting is empathy, like let's say that what I'm really wanting is sort of some trust that you love me and you care about me and you're tending to me and you get where I'm coming from. Telling you, you fucking narcissistic asshole, you never think about me. You could say I'm going to bat for my needs and it's okay for me to fight for what I'm needing. And I could even say it to you like this. Well, I'm just feeling indignant and angry and outraged because I have a need for empathy and I have a need for understanding and I have a need to be seen and known. And in this moment, would you be willing to please tell me what you're hearing me say accurately? I mean, you could tell me that's classical NVC, but I don't think you're going to get your needs met. So the question of like, is it okay for me to fight for my needs? Honey, yes, go fight for your needs. But do you want to do it skillfully? Like, do you want them to actually get met? Because if you want them to actually get met, I would suggest a different approach.